26 years in the making, and we finally have Penny's PE. Yo, what's good, guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we got something finally different. It's not a pair of Jordan 1s, but it's still a pair of ones, just the Foamposite ones. Nike Air Foamposite ones to be exact. This shoe right here was made famous by a couple of people. The person that I'll give credit to first is actually the guy that's branding is on the shoe, and that's Penny Hardaway. Dude was a legend. Second guy is Mike Bibby, because he wore them first. That's all. Final four. You know the drill. Well, I mean, if you know, you know. If you don't know, look it up. So these guys right here were supposed to be part of that whole all-star pack that we kind of reviewed. We didn't review all of them. I think we might have only done one. But it was another pair of pennies. It was one of my favorites. It was the Air Penny 2s. Same color combination, but this pair doesn't seem to have any of the pink on it that the other one did. But it still has that like really light blue, which you said was gray. Or did you say it was blue and I said it was gray? Somebody f***ed up, I'm pretty sure it was me.
The football gray?
Oh, that's what it was, yeah. Are these called football gray? White, metallic, silver, black. No gray.
We definitely had a difference in opinion as to what the football gray looked like.
But anyways, these guys right here are something that we've seen since '97 on Penny's feet, but have never gotten. Like, we have never gotten this thing. It's come close. This shoe was actually supposed to release, not quite like this. It was supposed to look a little bit more like his actual PE a couple of years ago. And I remember when we were over at Phenom one time, they had the kids version available. I was just like, oh, are these coming in men's? They said they're supposed to, but they just didn't know where they were and all that stuff. And then they never ended up happening. I don't know what happened. I don't know if that was this or if it was something else and they got scrapped or they just were never manufactured in the first place. And then the closest thing that we've ever gotten was actually part of a pack, which was the Shooting Stars pack. Again, almost like his PE, but not quite. They actually added stars down the eye stay, which that was the part where I was really excited for this pack until I saw that. And I was like, no, can't do that. It reminds me of like kindergarten. You get your homework in or whatever, and they give you those stars on your paper. It just wasn't cool looking. Fast forward to now, we have it almost. Again, it's not quite like the original PE and everything. It's close enough to where I wanted a pair. I really love this shoe and I love it in this colorway. The closest thing we've ever gotten to like a white pair of foams was these bad boys right here. This is the Pearl Foamposite Pro. A little bit different as far as, you know, the look and things like that. Obviously not too different because it's essentially the same shoe, but the main difference would be the branding. So obviously this one has a swoosh on there. This is how they were originally intended, by the way. There was the player version, which was this, and they were gonna mark that one up. I believe it was 180 or 190 originally. And back in '97, that was f***ing expensive, let me just say. Like, that was more expensive than any Jordan ever, at least at the time, until the 17s came out. And then they have a couple of different things on the pull tabs. The pull tabs are still on both shoes. The Penny ones, though, they have the stripes, which is cool, the throwback or callback to the uniforms and stuff like that. This one has less stripes, and then they actually flipped it on the back tab, and instead it says Foamposite. And then the branding on the heel, obviously swoosh versus Penny logo, and you can't see it, but Penny logo jeweled on the tongue, and then Air jeweled on the pros. And then the last difference would be the traction. Both work really well. So we've talked about Foamposites before. I think the last one that we talked about was...
We did the ones that were a tennis version.
Yes, so that was the scrapped sample. Shout out to one of our WearTesters Discord community members. His name is Josiah. He's actually the one that found them over at his local Ross. So we have a low top Foamposite, which is cool. And then the one other than that was the all black joints that came back out.
Anthracite?
Bingo.
But anyways, these guys right here were first seen, at least in this colorway, on Penny Hardaway's feet. Coincidentally enough, he was playing the Chicago Bulls, and one of the things that I want you guys to take notice of is the shape of the toe on his pair was different. I actually don't know which one I prefer because I think the toe actually is like hideous on these shoes. I love the profile view, but the toe down view has always been a weird one for me. And then the second thing is, look at how fucking pretty those Pippin ones are. They are just sexy. Now, the outsole on these guys does feature herringbone. Again, it's a little bit different than the Foamposite Pro. They work really well on court, and most people wear these off court anyway, so it is what it is. These are very popular over on the East Coast, the DMV area to be specific. They're kind of like known as the king of Foamposites. But anyways, we've got the outsole. It's gorgeous, and we also have a giant carbon fiber spring plate in there. It's actually the arch and torsional plate as well, so you'll see it wrap around medial and lateral side. Now, the upper itself is actually Foamposite, and Foamposite, believe it or not, is polyurethane. So the stuff that they make like midsoles out of and stuff like that is what this entire upper is. And it's very interesting because it's not a brick, even though it's heavy. And by brick, I mean it's not hard as It's got a little spring to it, almost like a little softness and stuff. It's not like super soft, but compared to, I don't know, like a Jordan 3 or 4 midsole, definitely softer. But the whole concept was having something that molded to your foot. So it started off one way, which is obviously the shell that you see. And then the more that you would wear it, the more that your foot would perspire, the more that the heat would escape your foot and into the surrounding material. It would soften it up even more and then eventually mold to your foot shape. So you get almost a custom one-to-one fit, which at the time and even now, like thinking about it, it's just a really cool concept. That's what the whole Reebok pump bladder was all about. It's kind of a customized tight fit. That's what the BOA system is supposed to do. That's what the auto lacing systems are supposed to do. They've been doing this forever.
Now all through the power of your feet juice.
Why do you guys say it like that?
Because that's what you just explained.
Yeah, but I didn't say feet juice. That's disgusting.
Feet juice.
Ugh. Anyways, the process to making the Foamposite build or the upper is just, again, very interesting. There's very limited images online, but basically it's a plastic shell, almost like a tooling mold would be for like an outsole or a midsole, but instead it's like this floating upper, and then they pour the liquid polyurethane into it instead of ejecting it into a tray, and that's what ends up curing into this upper and things like that. They've done some really cool things with it since its original debut. Obviously, the first stuff that they did was just apply lots of color to it, but now you can apply prints and graphics, and this one even has texture to it. So if you look really, really closely, which I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pick up on camera because these are bright ass white and it might just reflect all of the light. I'll try my best though. But there's like weird like cracks, kind of like the Lost and Founds. So I don't know if they're trying to mimic leather, but like it's just very interesting looking when you look at it closely. Now, one of the changes that they made to this and what I've seen them do with multiple Foamposites recently is they've actually removed the eye stay area, which was originally nubuck, which is on these guys right here, and then they replaced it with this cheap ass looking leather, and I just still don't like it. Again, I've been waiting for this damn shoe to come out for so freaking long that I bought them anyways because I'm a sucker.
Yep.
This is how it should be, man. I don't know why they decide to change things up sometimes. I don't know who is making that decision, being like, you know what, man, let's make a good thing worse. Whose idea is that? That guy should just sit back down and crunch some numbers because this is not your job. Now the tongue is still the same stuff. So we've got an open-celled mesh. It's an internal booty sleeve. It's not a full, like all the way up to the ankle, but it is one whole piece. So the back area is connected to the front. The shoe itself, this is like where it also starts to differ between this retail release and Penny's PE, where the originals had a blue stripe down it because obviously it was to match Orlando's jerseys. And this one is just white. I do wish that this was a straight up like PE instead of a kind of, but again, I've been waiting for so long that at this point, it doesn't matter. All the things that do bother me don't bother me enough to pass on them. However, that price tag, man, that is hella expensive. I know the inflation and all that stuff, but $240?
No way.
These are probably gonna sit. Now the insole is this guy, very similar to what we've seen on almost every Foamposite since the original release. So this is something that I think is cool. They did not change it much. The internal tech information is very interesting because for one, the midsole itself is double lasted, which means it's wrapped inside of the upper. We just did a performance review on the And One Rise, and that was a similar setup. Most Foamposite setups are like this, and at the time between 97 and about 2004-ish, double lasted midsoles were all the rage. The purpose behind a double last midsole is so that the upper and your foot is more connected to the midsole itself through the upper. So it's really clamping everything down and like cinching it on there, almost like a nice warm hug.
Hi everyone, I'm Olaf.
Now the cushioning itself is full length Zoom Air, and then in the heel there's an additional Zoom Air unit, which is one of these guys. So in the heel it's double stack Zoom, and then everywhere else it's just full length Zoom. Now as far as the fit is concerned, they do fit true to size. Just keep in mind that they are clunky. So this is just one of those shoes that you really need to break in. If you've never owned a pair of Foamposites before, I don't know if necessarily you would want to. Maybe it's something that is like visually striking to you and it's just drawing you in, and if that's the case, just be aware it's going to be a heavy ass shoe and they're going to be stiff. You're going to need to take a lot of time to break them in. If you're trying to play basketball in them, this is one of those love-hate shoes where some people like me hate them on court, but the people that love them absolutely love them. They swear by them. And I've played with plenty of people over the years that play in Foamposites, and yes, they've busted my ass plenty of times. So it doesn't matter about the shoes, it's about what you do in them. They will be available at all retailers, including Phenom. So if you were interested and you're in our area, the Sacramento Elk Grove area, they're gonna probably be over there because I don't see these selling out at $240. And I do think that that's a good thing, not the retail price, but just the sitting thing, because that means that people that really have been wanting this shoe, like people like me, can just walk on in, try them on and be like, yeah, that's the stuff right there. But with all that being said, sound off below and let us know what you think about the Nike Air Foamposite 1 in what I assume is just the Penny PE, right? Like I said, it's not quite like the PE, but it's close enough. stuff. So that's what we're gonna roll with. But let us know what you think about them down below in the comment section. Do you think that they're dope? Do you think that it's just like, hell no, that's not even a thing? If you wanted a little bit more information on the shoe, including performance and inspiration, go check out our previous review on the anthracite one. So I think that that was the one where we like added like the design implementation, that this was supposedly originally for Pippin, not Penny. Penny saw them, blah, 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 blah. There's all kinds of stuff in there. So go check it out if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. We will catch you on the next one. So until then, have a good one.